Hey, 7th grade, Mr. Hildebrand here. This is our lesson for the 19th, Monday the 19th. So in case you missed the Zoom or something, you have a doctor's appointment, this is our lesson. So today we're talking about ancient Greek theater. Ancient Greek theater. Now we're going to look at, hey, how does the ancient Greek theater relate to maybe modern entertainment, how we entertain ourselves today? The ancient Greeks were some of the first people to develop theater and plays and that kind of thing. We think of like plays and musicals when we think of theater. And they did it in festivals to honor the god Dionysus. Dionysus was the god of wine and parties. He loved entertainment, according to ancient Greek mythology. So to honor him, the Greeks started these festivals where they would have plays. Aeschylus was one of the first to write plays, and he wrote plays that were called tragedies, all about suffering, and they're very sad and make people cry. Sometimes they're about gods and their relationships with other gods, or sometimes with people or things that happened in the past. Now, eventually, the Greeks are going to develop another type of play called the comedy. These are typically ones with happy endings, or they're meant to make people laugh. They're usually about the present time, what was going on in ancient Greece at the time. And a lot of times, they were making fun of politicians or leaders. Okay, powerful people in ancient Greece often got made fun of in these plays. Okay. These were big community festivals, so they would start very early. Everybody would come down to the theater, start when the sun came up. They'd do the tragedies in the morning. People were nice and sad. And they maybe a little break for lunch, some other entertainment going on. And then in the afternoon, they would have the comedies, leave with people being happy. All the performers were men. So women were not allowed to act at the time. So this got a little tricky because then you said, well, what if you have female characters in the play? The men, depending on what mask they were wearing or what clothing they were wearing, would tell the audience whether that character was male or female. Okay. Now, eventually that'll change because obviously we know we have actors, actresses, men, women, whoever is acting in our movies and our plays and TV shows today. Here's a little VR picture of the theater in Athens. Okay, there's Athens back there in the background. You can still go visit there. They do have plays in some of these ancient theaters that are all over Europe. They are outdoor, open air, so if it's rainy, you're going to get wet, right? It's just how it is. If it's windy, that's what it is that day. They have their theaters outdoors. The plays had typically a sponsor or a wealthy citizen who would pay for the play. Now, they did often sell tickets, so any of the money that the play made went back to that sponsor. But that sponsor would kind of cover anybody who couldn't afford a ticket. So if a poor citizen came up and couldn't afford to get in, the sponsor would basically pay for their ticket because the ancient Greeks believed that everybody should be able to go appreciate the theater. And they also had judges, a panel of judges who would judge the play. So it turned into a competition because we know the ancient Greeks love competition. Now, folks, I did play for the class this YouTube video. It's actually probably located directly above this video that you're watching right now on Canvas, so check that out. It's got a lot more detailed information. It also connects how the ancient Greek plays, comedies, tragedies, all these themes, how we see those pop up in our modern movies and TV shows and those kind of things. For our work today, if you go to the Canvas page and you go down to modules, and then you go to week 9. We're on week 9, so we're cruising through the school year already. You go to assignments. Well, first off, if you want that Nearpod, those notes, you can check this out right here. This is that video I was talking about that gives more details about the ancient Greek plays. But if you're like, Mr. Hildebrand, what do I need to do? Check out this assignments page right here. And this is the assignment for today and tomorrow. So you got today's class to work on it. You also have tomorrow's class to work on it. It's called Greek Plays, so click on it right there. It's one of these embedded Google Docs, so it might ask you to like sign into Google before you can see it, that kind of thing. If you want a bigger version, just click this, and it will pop up in your actual Google Docs. Okay. It gives a little description of ancient Greek plays, which I already gave in this video, but then we see what your job is to do is to create a comic strip version of a comedy or tragedy. Rather than writing out a whole play, you're going to just kind of create a storyboard or a comic book version of a comedy or a tragedy. If you want to draw it, you can draw it and either hand it to me or send it to me like a picture in the email. Or if you want to do an online tour, like an online tool, storyboard that. Okay, storyboardthat.com will help you out. I have a tutorial that also posts on how to use that site. Your comic must be a comedy or tragedy. You have to have at least 2 characters. You can have more if you want. And it has to be 10 sentences long. Not 10 sentences, sorry, 10 scenes. 10 scenes long. So if you're drawing this on paper, obviously you can create your own boxes. You can use the boxes that are on here. If you need to add some, that's fine. If you're doing it on Storyboard, it does, for the free version, have a 6-box limit. So what you might need to do is make a part 1 and a part 2 and send them both to me. But lots of different options here. I did have a couple people ask if they could just write out the play rather than draw. That's an option too. As long as you meet everything on this checklist, you'll be good. Okay. If you have questions, need help, send me an email. I'd love to help you. And I will see you tomorrow on the Zoom to help you with any questions or anything you need. See you, folks.